Hello, friends and followers. This is Joshua, or Adam Wolf, or whoever. So, in 2014, maybe it was 2015, I'm not sure. I was the first person to say that LGBTQ is the new Gestapo. And I did not say that without contemplating it very thoroughly. What I do is I look at events, I look at happenings, I look at actions, and I deconstruct those actions for value. Who does this benefit? How does it benefit them? And then I look for patterns, like, did somebody else use these patterns? Did somebody else do something similar to this? And so what I noticed is that there are correlations between Nazi eugenics and what the LGBTQ is promoting. So the sexualization of children was also a Nazi concept. There was this society called the Thule Society, Thule Society, Thule, and they believed that having sex with children, you could accumulate this occult power of vril from that activity. So they were sexualizing children in Nazi Germany. And the promotion by the LGBTQ people of the transsexualizing children, whereas before it was 1% of the population, it was considered a mental disorder. Let's promote it. Let's glamorize it. Essentially what they're doing, and many of them have said, they need to lower the number of human beings on planet Earth. So what they did was they glamorized sterilization. Why not be a trans person? Boys can be girls, girls can be boys. Yeah. And then the Nazis and the communists thought that they were doing science. So they called it scientific socialism, right? So Karl Marx thought it was science. We're doing science. This is scientific, right? So when they're encouraging these scientists and doctors say this is not harmful for children, this isn't just a phase that they're going through. They're not going to regret it at some point later in their life. It's science. Men can menstruate. Men can give birth to babies, right? It's science. They perverted and they corrupted the scientific authority to make these kids buy into it and think that they were doing science. And another thing is that Karl Marx wrote that communism, by its very essence, is atheist. It's atheistic. So it's like these kids, how many of these kids that were getting transsexual surgeries, how many of them do you think were very religious? Ponder that for a second. The other thing that the Nazis did was they encouraged children to rat out their parents to the Nazis. And this is something that children were requested to do if the parents were saying something that wasn't politically correct, wasn't woke. Report your parents, right? To break up the family unit. That's one of the things that communism does. That's one of the things that was in the Black Lives Matter manifesto. Getting rid of the family unit. That way, basically, the state is God, and everybody has a relationship with the state. With each other, not so much. But just like a cult leader, right? He wants everybody to have a relationship with him. But don't get too cliquish with each other. Don't talk to each other too much, especially not about things that we don't want you to talk about. So the LGBTQ community is ideological fascist. And the way that they got started was they created this thing, oh, we're, yeah, lesbian, gay, bi, transsexual. Come in, and we're going to make these four things one thing. Okay. We are going to provide value for you, and we are going to speak for you, right? Ideological fascists. So then they started adding more letters and numbers and print symbols and stuff like that to their LGBTQ. And when they were saying, "Oh, we want biological men in women's restrooms, we want them in their prisons, we want them competing in their sports," and the L's and the G's were like, "Wait a minute, we don't want that, we don't agree with that, and we don't condone that." And LGBTQ is like, "Well, guess what? We speak for you, and now we speak instead of you. So shut up." This is what everybody believes now. As a matter of fact, if a lesbian woman doesn't want to have sex with a biological male that had surgeries to become a woman, then she is a bigot and she's not doing science. And the same for the gay guys too. So I think we all know that liberals and Democrats are vexatiously litigious. Vexatiously litigious. That means that they use lawfare. They sue people as a form of harassment to use up their resources to compel their behavior. That's one of the things that they do. So a lot of people thought that when they threw out these like 31 new flavors of LGBTQ, it's like, oh, that's silly. That's stupid. You know, get off there. What is that? Oh, that's the lamp. Okay, good. And they just thought it was like innocuous. It was liberal silliness, but it was more devious than people understand. And I'm going to explain why. So they're creating all these opportunities for children to buy into an identity, right? So now you have, oh, yes. Before I go there, this is another thing that was very similar to what the Nazis did. We talked about ratting out your parents. But the other thing is like teachers feeling that if a child comes to that teacher and says, I think I might have been born in the wrong body, the teacher thinks to herself, well, the parent between the relationship between a teacher and a student is more important than the relationship between parents and their children. So I am not going to tell the parents, but I am going to help this child get, sexually molested by the government. So back to the twin spirits. If you have a business, you have 100 people in your business, and let's say 2% of the people around that area identify as twin spirits, then the LGBTQ, if you don't have two twin spirit employees, the LGBTQ and the Democrats can sue you with a prima facie lawsuit for discrimination. That's how they do it. And they can force you to hire two twin spirits. Now, the twin spirits, and who knows what other of the alphabet soup you have in your 100 people, they can report back to the LGBTQ if you're doing something that they don't like. And then those LGBTQ people can act as obstructionists. They can send hordes of trolls and bots after you to harass you for doing whatever it is that you're doing. Now, what's interesting is that they're hyper vigilant about using lawfare and prima facie lawsuits and vexatious litigations. But think about who was killed by the bringing of fentanyl into the United States. And did not bother them at all. Not at all. No vexatious litigations, because the fentanyl was killing the right people, the people that they wanted to be killed. So there was no prima facie lawsuits for discrimination. Why? Why is this fentanyl epidemic disproportionately affecting those people? And why don't we care?